What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Alex here from Team Generations, and today we're here with a discussion video, something a little bit different. We haven't really done this before in general, like a general, I guess, like set discussion before it comes out. Everything's kind of been like profiles after the fact, but today I'm joined by two of my buddies, both Alec and Jake. Why don't you guys say hello?
Hello. I'm Alec. Premium is, I guess you could say, it's my main format, so happy to talk about the new set.
As well as Jake.
Hi, I'm Jake. My main format is Overdress, but I am always here for moral support.
There we go. Jake's been on a video like this actually kind of before. Which one did we do? We did this for like
it was
clan
the
collection or
first
something.
V collection.
Yeah, it was one of them. So cool. We're just gonna hop into it today, go over a little discussion. We might do like a tier list kind of thing at the end, depending on how we're feeling. But I'm just gonna go alphabetically through Premium Collection, talking about what we think is pretty good, potential, you know, what is kind of crap in the set, if there is anything. So kicking it right off, I guess if we're going alphabetically, we're just literally gonna jump into Angel Feather. This is gonna be a very casual kind of video. So we have Holy Seraph Zaf. How do you say this? Zafkiel? I think that's how to say it.
Zafkiel.
It feels like
I'd say so.
What is this? That's like a Seven Deadly Sins kind of name, I feel like, with the angels.
It's like it's an angel name.
There we go.
Yeah.
But, alright, cool. So this guy's skill, act on Vanguard Circle once per turn, cost, discard a card from your hand, choose up to 3 cards from your drop zone circles. Other than Vanguard Circle, put them into your damage zone face up. All your front row units get 10k until the end of turn for each normal unit put. This guy gets drive +1 until the end of turn for each trigger unit put. Choose a card from your damage zone for each card put and heal it. So that is pretty good overall. I think this is a really solid card. Just very generic, can be used in pretty much any premium Angel Feather deck. I know premium Angel Feather's not really running rampant. What, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it is definitely a very strong card on its own. It does a lot. It sets up your damage zone. It can give your front row power. It can gain drives. And just overall is a very strong card on its own. I think the biggest issue is it doesn't exactly help solve Angel Feather's issues, which is just lack of a very solid game plan. Like you said, they're not really running rampant right now. Like they can sort of do Hamiel plays, but that's a lot more fragile with the disruption compared to how it was in V. Yeah,
that's actually a big issue for them in general, but you know, they're not limited, I guess, the same way in V, or at least with the restriction, but they've always missed like I feel like a solid going first stride. Like this is good late game, this is good early game. This feels like generally good, but again, it's not like, all right, this is clearly the stride I'm gonna go into first. Because they also, they have the 7 damage stride. They have a couple other things too. I feel like it's solid overall.
Yeah,
I just don't know when the best turn to go for it is. It's very situationally.
I think it's just one of those strides that, you know, if you either don't have anything better to go into, or just
exactly
set up the damage zone, get some power, maybe get some pluses by just throwing the 3 triggers from the drop zone in if you need to.
Yeah, I agree.
It's never going to be terrible.
No, it's definitely not terrible. I would, if I had to put a letter grade on this guy, I'd probably say B+.
Yeah, I like B+. Another thing to note also is that the effect perfectly sets up for the G-Guards effect, which we can talk about in a little bit.
Yeah, let's go right into that. I'm just gonna pop that open really quick. Oops. There we are. So Super Mobile Hospital Ferment Grants. So this guy over here. When this unit is put on Guardian Circle, Counterblast 3, Soul Blast 1, choose a card from your damage zone and call it to Guardian Circle. So yeah, that does actually synergize really well with it. Obviously the Counterblast 3, any other deck that would be ludicrous, but this over here, especially with like tailoring in some of those trigger units to get those extra drives, it really doesn't neg you as hard. You really want to see Heal Guardians, I guess, in this deck. Or Heal Triggers, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, like most of what, especially the more recent V Angel Feather cards do, essentially acts as counter charge anyway, since you take face down cards and put back in face up. But especially with the new stride, you can put in, for example, a PG from the drop zone into the damage, and then use this and immediately call it to guard circle.
Yeah, PG.
And then
definitely,
obviously, since you're calling the card from the damage zone, it'll then go to the drop zone, so it also functionally acts as a heal during the opponent's turn, which is always nice.
Very, very true.
Cool. When I first read this, I was like, the Counterblast 2 heal? That's busted.
Essentially, yeah.
That is, because you do refund one of them out. Yeah, that's true. Wow, that is actually kind of crazy. Cool. So I think overall, I would give that guy an A plus kind of. That's like one of the best Shield Guardians.
I would go S.
Definitely
S tier.
A.
Yeah,
it's definitely one of the better
yeah
G guards of this set for sure.
For sure. Cool. Let's hop right into Aqua Force now. We're going to be talking about Blue Furious Charge Dragon. How do you say this? Furiargus Dragon? So this is, something like that. Yeah. So Commander Jaime actually, he's the guy who revealed this. Such a really cool video. I like the demonstrations he did afterwards. That was actually really helpful. But this guy over here, obviously the Stride skill, auto on Vanguard Circle. At the end of battle, this attack costs counterblast 1. Turn a card from your G zone face up. You may get an imaginary gift Excel. Choose up to the same number of your rear guards as the number of your face up cards in your G zone and stand them. Then choose one of your rear guards, move it to an open additional rear guard circle, and it gets 10k until the end of turn. So overall, there's like a whole lot going on with this, and I feel like this is kind of in the same. It might not be as good technically the way it reads as that Angel Feather Stride we just saw, but it kind of falls victim to the same, like, when do I use this? Like, you can use it as first Stride, you can go into this later and get like a huge restand kind of on your board. I feel like this is good, generically good, but it's not like crazy.
It's it's a decent card generically. I think the issue, especially compared to like the Angel Feather one, that this one struggles with more, like you said, is when you would go into it. Because this has a very niche use where it pluses you a little with the Excel, and it gets you a little bit of multi attacks by moving up one thing and giving it power. But if you are going for, the issue is, if you're trying to gain advantage, usually you'd go into the Genbold Dragon, or if you're trying to finish games, you'd go into the Alexandros.
That's,
So
this is
sort
kind of like
has
a
a
middle of the
weird
road kind of thing. Yeah, exactly.
One problem I'm noticing is ideally you're going to be moving a back row unit to the front row. So I'm guessing you'd have to do your booster for your Vanguard, because otherwise you're creating low power columns on your left and right.
I was going to say, Aqua Force doesn't really power themselves up. I mean, a couple things do, but typically it's all about like just restanding and small pokes. So
yeah, a lot of small pokes. So
I was thinking that
one move,
take away that booster.
Yeah, and the one moved unit getting +10 is certainly appreciated, but when that may be your only attack that hits over a defensive afterwards.
Exactly, yeah, that's the tough part. It's like, they hit one defensive, shuts off your turn, like, still doesn't solve, I guess, Aqua Force's problem, but it is solid. And again, I think it could be a pretty decent card late game. Could go into a first stride, but again, sometimes you just want to go into the Genbold, or, like you said, the Alexandros and stuff. Even the, what was it, who was the one who does the 11k Vanguard? He's Valios. Yeah, he's pretty solid too. So overall, I think this is like good. It's not great. I would probably say this is like C+, B-, somewhere around there.
Yeah, say C+. It's definitely a card that you're not unhappy to have in your G zone.
Yeah,
just to exist, but it's not necessarily something you'd go into very often.
Correct. Yeah.
You'd want to have it as an option.
Yeah. What would you say, Jake?
I'd give it a B-. That's definitely a 2.7 GPA right there.
2.7. There we go. Cool. All right, let's pop out into the the G Guardian now for them. That is going to be Rebellious Heavenly Flow General Dianera. So I don't actually remember what she does off the top of my head, so let's actually read this for real. Auto when this unit is put on Guardian Circle, cost counterblast 1, perform the following depending on which battle of the turn this is. First battle, choose one of your units, gets plus 5k until the end of turn. That's pretty good. Fourth battle and more, this guy gets shield 20k. Okay, this is actually pretty versatile. I think this is solid in my opinion. It's either a 35k guard, which is kind of more relevant with today's numbers, I would say, or that permanent +5, which could stop against a lot of like poke decks, or at least help you with a lot of poke decks.
Yeah. For sure.
I'm definitely putting this at a 1 of.
Yeah, definitely
in every Aqua Force deck.
A good card to have. Again, having the option to get the +5 for the turn can be huge against certain other decks, and then the 35k shield is very nice, just especially, the only issue being it does need to be wave 4 or more, which sometimes may be an issue. So for the second and third attacks, this card is kind of dead, but having the option of just, a later on 35 shield or a free just like, CB1 become a 17 Vanguard for the turn can be huge.
And I don't think Aqua Force has a problem with resources, right? But Counterblast, I don't know. I feel like they're a deck that uses stuff.
Because they also have, I believe, the other G-Guard that can turn itself face down to countercharge. So
that is correct.
Generally, they are pretty good on resources.
This is true. I would probably give this is like a B+ in my mind. It's pretty good. I would definitely want to be in my G zone.
Yeah, I'd give it a B.
Okay.
I'd go straight B.
Straight B? Okay, cool. Alright, awesome. So let's move on to the next one over here. Ooh, this is going to be fun. Bermuda Triangle. Alright, so let's pop this open. Radiate Ocean Truda? I think that's how to say it. Truda? I don't know. Anyway, its skill, when this unit attacks, costs discard 3 cards from your hand. Return all the cards on your circles other than Vanguard Circle to your hand. Choose up to 2 cards from your hand, call them to Rearguard Circle. At the end of that battle, cost Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. Put this unit into your G zone face up, choose one of your Vanguards, and stand it. So, I think this reads almost as one of the best cards in the set. I've actually been playing with this in like a proxy form, and I think that it is actually fair. The discard 3 is bigger than you think in a lot of these decks. I know Bermuda does gain a lot of advantage in general, but I feel like this is such like a well-designed card. You can open up playstyles to like literally almost any V Bermuda deck. On top of that, like the multi-attack potential is crazy. Like it feels very powerful without like being overtly broken, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would definitely say this is one of the best cards in the set.
Yeah.
Like, both just allowing the other V decks and even some lyrical decks just to exist in premium because of this, because you get the inherent multi-attack just from the bounce and the callback, and then immediately after you get to put it back in and use whatever Vanguard you have. So whether you want to slap this into Prisms, which is one of, if not the best deck in V right now, or this fits very nicely still into just Highlander, which is a crazy deck in premium right now.
It's insane. Even in V, it's still good. It's like actually crazy.
Yeah,
no,
it's just a very good card all around.
I think it's good too. Yeah, the nice thing about this too is there's kind of a break in between where you don't have to counterblast Soul Blast 1 to stand one of your Vanguards. You can return just cards from your on all your circles to your hand, so you can technically not neg as hard, but obviously you want to be restanding your Vanguard. Like, why wouldn't you do that? But it is an option, just something I wanted to point out. Jake, what is your opinion on this card?
The way I'm reading it is if you were only attacking with a front row you're starting out with, this is nothing but plus. It's like you're getting another battle phase.
Yeah.
You're just refreshing your whole front row.
No, it's true.
So it's like,
and Bermuda has so many multi-attack options. Like, I personally, I've been playing this in Anj. Obviously, Prism you can play it, and you can play in like literally any deck you can pretty much slap this on. But I personally like Anj. I feel like the multi-attack potential is there, and it just kind of goes crazy. So I think this is really good. And it's about time Bermuda gets like a really good, I feel like, stride, because the past 2 clan collections weren't too great. Like, or the premium collections or whatever they are. So I would give this card an A, I think. I would
honestly, I'd give this card an S if we're going with an S ranking.
Oh yeah.
if that exists, if we're going with that. Otherwise, A+.
Okay.
This would go to my S.
Okay. So yeah, very very high rated card by all of us. Okay. So Bermuda, good. And then it's a G-Guard over here, Diva of Salvation. What's her name? Oops, did I click the wrong thing? Yep, I did. There we are. What is this? Diva Salvation, Lucrece. Why is this not popping open with the right thing?
Would you like me to read it?
Yeah, go for it while I try to open this. There we go.
When this unit is put on Guardian Circle, cost Counterblast 1 and return a normal unit from your rearguard circle to your hand. And then the effect is, and perform the following according the grade of the card returned to hand for this cost. If it's 2 or less, aka 2 or 1, this unit gets shield plus 15k until end of that battle. Not bad. You get a 30k.
Yep.
And if it's 3 or more, choose one of your vanguards and gets power plus 5,000 until end of turn. It's a bit of an inverse of the Aqua Force, I see.
Yeah. I kind of like these where there's like those choices where like you do one or the other, and like just it's really versatile. I don't think a counterblast is too heavy in this deck. Like Bermuda could run through their resources, but I don't think they have like a resource problem.
When you're playing Highlander and you have access to every card in your deck at any point in the game, you can grab countercharge for free just at any point, and recycle it with something like Aqua, just bounce it back and call it and use it out again.
Yeah, like I said, I like the two different options on this.
I see a world where you play maybe not all 4, but maybe some grade 1 Sentinels just to have them as boosters and then bounce them to your hand.
Well, you can also just do that with grade 0 Sentinels.
Yeah.
Just slap down the 5k.
2 or less on here. Yeah, that's true. And then, the grade 1 is also played in Highlander.
It has to be a normal unit.
Oh, true, you're right.
Normally, yeah. No, you're right, actually. Good call.
That's what I was saying.
I think this is really good. I would kind of, again, I would call this like a solid A.
Yeah,
I would say it's better than the Aqua Force one because the choice is in your hands, so definitely A.
Yeah, it's definitely much better, I would say, both because you get the option. One of the few issues is the fact that the cost requires you to return a rearguard to your hand, so against maybe like decks that mass wipe the board like Narukami, this is basically going to be a dead card, but for the payoff that it does have against the other decks, I think it is still a very good card.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Cool. And I think in general, I just like the design of that, the stride in general for Bermuda is just like, it really is just opens it up. Like that's such an easy card to just slap 4 of in a G zone. You can fill it with whatever else you want, and really like you can play premium with just a V deck essentially. So I actually really like that one. Moving on then over here to Deep Hades, Emperor of Ultimateness, Vorflax. This is an interesting card. I think this is kind of a little divisive, but it's skill. Counterblast 1, discard 5 cards from your hand. Stride this card onto your Vanguard circle as stand from face down. Auto, when the sky is placed on Vanguard circle, if your deck has 13 or less cards, choose 3 critical triggers from your soul, return them to your deck, and then shuffle it. So I don't know. This is actually the stride skill is a little. Oh no, in G zone, yeah. At the end of battle, your grade 3 Vanguard. Attack your opponent's grade 3 or greater Vanguard. If your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, your soul is 13 or more cards. Yeah, you do this.
If your Vanguard is grade 3.
Yeah. Oh, grade 3. Yes, it has to be grade 3. Cannot be grade 4.
Yeah.
Now I have had the severe displeasure of playing against this in a proxy format.
Okay.
And let me tell you, it is consistent and it is terrifying. Giving Dark Regulars a basically Legion shuffle back plus a double attack.
Yeah.
It's just nuts. And I've seen people go into the original rewriting attacking Vanguard and then slap this on top of that again.
So yeah, basically what's the play here? It's like the
so right now No Life King Barrow is like the big deck in the deck, and I actually think this kind of doesn't work necessarily as well with that deck, especially because it costs a counterblast. So you are getting another Vanguard attack for every counterblast that you have essentially already, because you do the NLK into another NLK into the Barrow Magnes. But what it does let you do, which is really important, is it helps you set up for GB2 next, like on future turns. So like you can do this, set up GB1, and then next turn you can go into like the Blader Mouse.
That is true. Because you don't actually stride.
Before in the deck you don't want to be striding, because you want to be staying on No Life King.
Okay. So.
But then this also, just like the Bermuda one, it kind of allows the options for the other V decks to see play. Like you can go Sharhot, swing with the Sharhot, restand your rear guards, and then go into this and have another Vanguard attack.
That is true. I think this is very versatile. I guess the discard 5, I haven't played with this, and I'm not like a DI master by any means, so I can't really speak from experience, but that sounds heavy. I know with like number of terror and stuff, they generate advantage, but
technically it is going even because you'll twin drive, like with a normal turn, you'll twin drive, discard 5, go into this, and then triple drive. but it is definitely a very heavy cost.
Yeah. Overall, I'd probably give this like a B. I think it's good.
I'd probably give it A minus. Honestly, it's solid. It can help the decks that are already good and gives options to the ones that are seeing less play.
That's true.
I agree with A minus because what I just remembered is your deck is going to be very thin at this point. So shuffling back those 3 crits, you're probably going to hit
the compression is
on your triple drive.
Incredible.
That could actually save you like big time. So cool. Okay, very solid. I think it's a solid card overall. I know a lot of people are not too hot on it, but let's look at the new G Guard as well. This guy over here, Mayhem Force Wind Princess, Nirvaris, Jarvis. I don't know.
Nijarvis, I would say.
Something like Jarvis. When this unit is put on Guardian Circle, cost CB1, choose one of your opponent's units. For every 10 cards in your soul, they get critical -1 until end of turn. 2 criticals get -1 if you have 20 cards. Okay.
It's 2 units. You don't put -2.
I was reading it as that.
Unfortunately, you cannot choose the same card twice.
Yeah. Okay. I think this is okay.
I think it's a nice option. See these types of G-Guards a lot in this set. The minus a crit on a unit for some amount of threshold.
Yep.
And this one, pretty easy to get 1, possibly even 2. And for Counterblast 1, which Counterblast is heavy in this deck, but when you can minus a crit of something, either to stop a huge attack or
it could be that final
just to make something
attack, just that nails your coffin or whatever. But I think this is solid. I'd probably say, I don't know. You guys give your ratings first, because I feel like I'm sandbagging a couple of these.
I'm giving it a B.
Okay.
3.0. Yeah, I give it a B. I'd say it's good effect. The Counterblast, specifically in Dark Irregulars, kind of painful, but still can be very helpful.
I would agree with B. I think that's fair. It's a good card. You're gonna put it in probably at a 1 of, but it's definitely not every single time I'm gonna use this. But yeah, it's pretty solid. Cool. All right, let's move right along. This one's actually really cool. Dimension Police. This is Cosmo Winger Univert Galaxy. Let me pop that open. Let me read its skill off over here. So this guy, auto on Vanguard Circle, bursts. Once per turn, when this unit attacks, turn a card from your G-Zone face up. If this unit's power is 50k or more until the end of battle, this unit gets critical +1. If this unit's power is 100,000 or more, it gets drive +2. So right now in DP, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Continuous, and there's the continuous effect as well, where it gets +10,000 for each card among your damage and rear guards.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Yeah. I don't know why I keep on reading the second ones first. I keep on thinking it's part of the stride skill. I think the way they kind of have the color coded thing.
Yeah, continuous right below the stride keyword. Yeah.
This is it's huge. That's actually. I thought this card was really cool. When I saw this, I actually started to build out my my premium deck for DP. So 10k for each card, just for free in your damage zone rear guards. That's pretty big. I think there's the high roll build you can go with this. You can go just very standard, kind of like a V+ deck with die liner kind of deal, and just go into it. It's very free. It's easy to get. I feel like that threshold too, because what is it? The grade 2 Dizoris or whatever it's called gets you a marker.
Kaizar, you mean?
Kaizar. Yeah, the grade 2 gets you the marker. There's other stuff that gets you a marker. Obviously, the ride.
If you go force 1.
Yeah. So there's a whole lot going on there. It's pretty easy to get these thresholds.
Yeah, that being said, normally you will still just want to go Force 2 and just have that huge 3 crit Vanguard, since even without the Force 1s, it is very easy to hit that threshold, both just because of his continuous skill and...
Yeah, so if he's a 28k base, let's assume, right? He has 2 cards, let's say, in damage, whatever, or 3, let's say 3 cards, at least 3. Because you're going to be, let's say we went second, we're striding, first or whatever, so that's 30k. You already hit the... I already hit
the first threshold.
That's true.
And then if you have Laurel, for example, that'll double it and give it a crit.
Yep.
There's a P-Series Laurel. Or Dizoris will give it another +10 and an extra drive.
Yep.
So it is quite easy to hit that threshold.
Yeah. 100 million. If you hit that 100, it's that is pretty plus in general. This is like such a good generic kind of like. I feel like I would almost stride into this like almost every single time. You just flip up a Geoma Glass and like have fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think first stride, depending on the situation, you may still just want to stride into a Geomaglis, flip up a Geomaglis, and get some pieces, swing for like a 4 crit Vanguard. But then the other big thing, especially, is for second stride onward, since this has the burst keyword, is that you can use it with Linka to stop PGs, or to stop Sentinel effects specifically, which means, you know, unless you're playing against a deck that has one of those new PGG guards, that is basically just guaranteed game.
That is
actually over 100k. It's going to be 3 or 4 crit.
Yep.
It's going to be 5 drives. So all you need to do is check 1 grade 3, and the opponent's Sentinel is nullified.
Yeah. I think this is super solid overall.
Yeah, it's definitely a very strong card for a deck that is honestly already really good.
Yeah, it's good in premium. It's pretty fragile in V, I would say. It's not that great, but in premium, I would say it's damn good right now. I would give this an A+.
Yeah, I would give it an A+.
I'd give it just an A.
Just an A? Okay. Interesting. Okay. So let's hop right into the G-Guard now. This guy, Giant Armored Beast. How do you say this? Dragmelos? I don't even. Oh my god.
Dragamelos?
That's what I would say. Yeah. Dragamelos.
Oh my gosh. Alright, so this one auto, and this is put on Guardian Circle. Cost Soul Blast 1. Choose up to 2 grade 3 normal units from your drop. Put them into your hand. This guy gets shield plus 5k for each card put. The recursion of this is great because, again, if you flip Geoma Glass, 2 Geoma Glasses, boom, you popped out a lot of shield. You just became like super bulky. Recursion with this, like, that's huge. The shield value, not that great, but
I mean, he's 25 on its own, which gives you a reason to use it over like the heal guards, since a lot of the time the heal guards might sometimes be bigger with Dieliner and Geomaglis, but this, you're still getting a big shield, and then you're adding 2 grade 3s back, which, you know, with Dieliner, with Geomaglis, you're gonna be adding back like 30 or 40 shield, basically, just for Soul Blast 1.
Yeah, I think that's... I don't think this deck goes crazy with Soul Blast either, so I don't think that's like a heavy resource necessarily.
Not really a cost.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely... I would give this an A.
I would give this an S, honestly. I think it's one of the best G-Guards in the set. Just so free advantage, you get your pieces back, and you can either guard with them again or use them, and it just...
I feel like if shield value is a little higher, I'd give it like, you know, that A+S.
Yeah. Just because it's 25, I'm gonna stick with the A.
Okay, but it's still very good. I would definitely keep at least 2 of these in my team zone. I do kind of have a deck list already for that. I haven't actually played it necessarily, but I've been doing like test hands, so very interested in that deck for sure. Okay, moving on to Gear Chronicle now. Highbrow Steam Shilsha. Oh my gosh. Alright, so I'm not gonna skip the auto thing this time. Once per turn, this unit attacks. Cost bind a front row rear guard and turn your card from your G zone face up. Choose up to 2 cards from your bind zone, call them to rear guard circle, and all your front row units get an extra 10k until the end of turn. Auto and G zone at the end of battle that your grade 3 or grade 3 rear guard attacked. If this guy is face up, cost Soul Blast 1, bind that unit, call this card to rear guard circle. So this, I personally really like this. I didn't want to touch my V Steam Maiden, so I literally just bought a whole core. And I'm pretty much getting that ready for premium. I think this is a really fun card. I think this is pretty powerful. It feels like an Excel deck in like a Force kind of like skeleton in a way. You're just kind of amplifying what you're doing in V and just taking that to the nth degree. On top of that too, I think there is actually room to tech in like the V version of, what was it? Interdimensional Beast, Time Leap Dragon, the original one that came out. I forgot the
Time Leaper Dragon.
Time Leaper, yeah. Where you could actually get like a second turn out of it. I think the multi attack with this is great. I think like the recursion, just the overall in your face.
Oh, the second turn, you mean Mystery Flare then?
Is it Mystery Flare? Yeah, Mystery Flare.
Mystery Flare is the extra
that's
thing.
the one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this card is interesting. Like you said, I think it's a very fun card. Like you were talking about, you can use it in Steam Maidens. I've mostly looked at it when just the applications of Time Leap, since I think that is currently the better, just the go-to Gears premium deck. And again, a very fun deck, but kind of struggles. And I think this card is far from what solves the deck. I think it can essentially function as a better history build dragon, which was the original go-to for strats, and thanks to this being able to, it can still reset your time leap pieces like the Mellum and the History Maker, and then it gives them +10, so that's really nice. So it helps with the power, which is one of the big things that the time leap deck struggles with, is because it's just doing a lot of small pokes. So I think it's very nice, and it can turn up the G-Zone units, so it can turn up the history build, which gives you the +3 on the units with the time leap keyword. And it also sets up for the Gear Groovy on the second stride. And then
I can see that.
The G-Zone effect is also interesting to call itself out. It does have some applications in both decks. It's just, especially one of the big things, especially in Time Leap, is that Soul Blast is kind of a rough resource. And just for an extra, I suppose, 15 or 25k attack that's on a Force 1, sometimes you might not want to really be going into that, but it's a nice option to have.
Yeah, I think just the whole thing that it really has, in my opinion, for it is that like it's on force numbers, and like you're generating for at least one force marker, so like you're getting a whole lot of attacks, but they're not like these crazy, obviously they're not DP numbers, but they are like substantial enough where it's like not the easiest thing to guard every single time. And then just the amount of attacks I'm putting through, like I've been proxying this and like playtesting a little bit, and like I'm able to get off like 6 to like 9 attacks, and it feels really good in a way. I don't know.
Time Leap, you're getting like, I think 8 or 9 minimum maybe.
Yeah, but they're small.
A lot of small
attacks,
pokes.
that's the
thing.
They're
very small.
It's like I get shut off.
You
by
do
a
get
trigger.
to reuse that force marker, but when like the main thing you're looping is, say, the Mellum that's hitting for 21 on a force, which still gets shut down by a defensive. However, let's see, what was I going to say? Again, the fact that it gives the +10 to the front row is very nice. And then, when you're doing that like Mellum or Watar loop and just like trying to gain a bunch of advantage, this helps facilitate that while still giving you that extra +10 to front that can help hit a little bit over defensive for some pressure.
Yeah, I feel like probably the Time Leap build probably might be still a little bit better, but I feel like this is like another one where it's like they've just focused on the product where they kind of like just released, and they're like, okay, you slap this on the G-Zone and like just call it a G deck. I mean, call it a premium deck now. And in that application, I guess, like I said, it's fun. I don't think it's anything crazy necessarily, but I think it is fun. I think it like teaches people like the potential of premium, and like can really get you into just, I guess, more advanced decks and just learning your like kind of attack patterns. Overall, I'd probably still give this like a B, like around there.
I think I would probably say B-, maybe a C+, honestly, just because, again, in the terms of the strength, it does not do much for the deck.
Okay.
In terms of a cramped J-Zone, I'm actually going to go ahead and give this a D+.
D+, wow. No love for Steam Maidens. Okay, I'll be sure to roll your face with this deck then.
Sure.
Okay, so over here, moving on to the guard. I don't remember this guard off the top of my head, so let me reread this guy over here. When this unit puts on Guardian Circle, cost discard 1 card or more cards with the sum of their grade, blah blah blah, 3 and more. This guy gets 20k shields until the end of battle. Discard 2 cards. If you discard cards with the sum of their grades being 6 or greater, counter +1, choose one of your units cannot be hit. Wow, okay, that's actually pretty crazy.
It is a good effect, but it is very heavily costed, especially compared to some of the other PGG guards that other clans have gotten. This is, you have to discard 3 cards at least and counterblast 1, because you're discarding for the heal, and then you have to discard again for the cost on Guardian Circle, and you have to discard grade 6 or greater, which means at least 2 cards, if not more. And then on top of that, you have to play a Counterblast, which is not too terrible in Gear Chronicle, but like you have uses for your Counterblast that you would possibly rather be spending.
Jake, do you have any thoughts on this one?
With all the cards that up their grade for when they're being
discarded,
I don't think it's that high. But I think it's still at least a one-of, because in Premium you get a lot of cards running around with anti-Sentinel and anti-discard from hand in general. So just having access to this as an option, I think is needed.
Yeah,
I think every clan would love to have that.
I think it's pretty much a blanket statement that like all these new G guards I would run.
Yeah, for the most part, you definitely run at least one for most of them. But even with like all the cards that are gaining grades, they're not gaining more than going to grade 3. So even still, that's 2 cards you're discarding.
Yeah, I mean you can't get out of it being 2 cards. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Before a PG, sometimes like a pseudo PG, I feel like that's kind of like a Hail Mary thing, and I feel like that's okay.
It's a very strong effect, and having a PGG guard is always going to be useful no matter what, but especially compared to the other PGG guards in the set, it is a bit overcosted.
I would probably go and give this a B+. Because the extra 20k shields, I mean, that's just pretty vanilla. That feels nice. 35k is like a relevant number, I feel like, in today's metagame. With the option to be a PG, I guess, too. Yeah, that makes it just more versatile.
That's definitely true, because you can discard anything that counts as a grade 3, and it, you're turning something into a 20k shield, essentially.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and give it a B. I think the cost is still a little high.
Yeah, I think I'm hesitant to give it anything higher than a B, because as good of an effect as Perfect Guard G Guard is, the cost is just very high.
Got it. Okay, cool. So we're kind of all in the same ballpark on that one, at least. Cool. So next up over here with Genesis, offering Souls, Heavenly Dragon, Jagdagana Lurga. Oh my god, who names this?
Jagdagana Lurga.
Auto on Vanguard Circle. Once per turn, when this unit attacks, turn a card from your G-Zone face up. Choose any number of cards with different grades from your drop. Put them into your soul, and this unit gets 10k until the end of turn. Second skill, when your opponent's unit is put on Guardian Circle other than from deck. Costs Soul Blast 3. Retire a unit. Your opponent looks at the top card of their deck. Calls it to Guardian Circle. Okay. I'm not a Genesis Premium player. I know Regalia is really strong. I don't doubt that at all. I don't know what this does for the deck, honestly. I can't really...
Honestly, it is another one of those cards where I think it's... I don't think its effect is bad by any means, but most decks are almost never going to want to go into this. Regalia, not really going to want to be going into this, because you'd rather be striding the Minerva, and even first stride, you'd rather, before first stride, you'd just not ride and then use the one that calls itself over in the middle of the battle phase.
In my opinion, it just doesn't do a whole lot. Like, if 2 cards in your opponent's hand are going to be the difference between you taking a huge advantage in the game, 2 Guardians, like, I just don't know if this wouldn't do anything that any other Stride wouldn't do better.
I guess.
Yeah.
Alright, next up over here, we're going to be looking at Golden Knight of Glory Various. So this is the Gold Paladin support. Its skill is continues on Vanguard Circle, or your rear guards placed by a card's ability this turn get an additional 5k. Its second skill, auto on Vanguard Circle once per turn. When this unit attacks, cost Counterblast 1, put all of your rest rear guards onto the bottom of your deck in any order. Choose up to 2 cards from your hand, call them to Rear Guard Circle. If you put 4 or more cards onto the bottom of your deck, till the end of the battle, stand this unit, and it gets drive -2 until the end of turn. At the end of that battle, stand this unit, and it gets drive. Okay, so it gets 1 swing with 3 drives, and then it gets the -2 drives, right?
Yeah, so 4 drives total.
4, okay, it's just interesting. I mean, my whole point with this whole thing was like, we finally get a restanding Gold Paladin strat.
Yeah, that is a interesting niche that it fulfills, but I'm just gonna say it. I think this card is garbage. I think it's bad. You have to neg so much to get that restand, and even aside from that, like, it's just not doing much compared to both what the rest of the deck, what the rest of Gold Paladin can do and really should be doing in Premium.
What do you think, Jake?
You're looking at 7 attacks with this card if you're going all in. It's like best case scenario, you hit some early crits. You're going into this first stride turn. You're trying to end the game here. But it's so cost heavy that if you don't end it, you kind of lose.
So you want to put all of your rest rear guards? I mean, that's... In a deck that spams things, though, I'm trying to think what build... Like, right off the top of my head, I'm thinking, like, you don't even put Aglovale in this because that'll just start eating away at your field. And I feel like that's, like, one of the most powerful cards in, like, a Gurgit core kind of build.
You definitely still play...
Yeah,
Aglovale,
you're going to
play Percival, which is the best card in the clan.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah... Like, especially, this card also gives your cards +5 for that were placed by a card's ability, which means it's essentially a worse version of what V Gurgit does. So, like, the two options you really could have instead of this are just playing Gurgit and not striding, because he is already a very strong card, especially when paired with the Percival, which is at 4 in Premium. Or you're playing the more common build, which is the Superior Rider Azul, then get the early Ultima. Just then kill the opponent on Ultima.
I didn't have too much luck with that the other day against you.
It's a very interesting strategy. It's definitely...
It's fragile. It's today's
fragile,
net again, it's fragile. It was really good. I don't know, I don't think this is like the worst, just because I think in Gold Paladin you spam a lot and there's a lot of like on-hit pressure with certain units too. Like, you could tailor a deck around this and not make it too bad, where like 4 things gone from the field. In a game that like a lot of strides, a lot of things like want to take away units, get like, just mess with your board, you're taking your own board away and kind of giving them very few. I don't know, I don't think it's that bad.
I feel like there's better ways to do that though, such as Aglovale being a 19 attacker on his own, 24 on an Excel, or more if you're on Gurgit.
A deck that spams the multi-attack and then like your Vanguard reset. I don't know. I feel like this is actually okay. I'm gonna give it a B. I know you guys are probably gonna rag on this one.
I'm gonna give it like an F. Honestly, I think this card is bad.
The first F of the video.
I gotta give it a D. I'm sorry, I love golds, but D.
Okay. I think it's interesting, but it's each their own. It's fair. Okay.
I want to like it.
Yeah, I feel like I might just like have the blinders on because I love gold and I'm like, I want to play this.
I would say the one application I can see it having is in the matchup against Order Colony, because a restanding Vanguard is certainly nice against that, and you are calling from hand, so it does enable multi-attacks even through Ghidorah effect.
It's true.
But,
the G-Guard Golden Dragon Sanctified Dragon. This guy over here, auto when this is placed on Guardian Circle, costs Soul Lash 1. Look at 2 cards from top of your deck. Choose up to 2 unit cards from among them, call them to Guardian Circle, and then discard the rest. If you called 1 or more grade 1 or greater cards, draw a card. 2 unit cards. Okay, so just not order cards, which is fine. They could be trigger or normal units, right? Yeah. Discard the rest.
It's mediocre, honestly. Like,
I feel like hand size is a little fragile in gold, so the draw is nice.
The draw is definitely appreciated, but aside from the draw, this is essentially a worse Slimy Flare.
I mean, best case scenario, you get 2 20k shields off the top if you're even, but you're not even gonna run in Premium. I mean, I don't know.
Best case is like you get a perfect guard.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's true, but again, Gurgit kind of does that too. I don't know.
Yeah, Gurgit himself does that. Slimy Flare checks top 5 also for that.
True. So yeah, I'm probably gonna give this card a D.
Yeah, D minus.
D.
Like,
it's fun. I don't know. Yeah, Gold's really got shit on during this whole.
People in the grid didn't play quintet walls, so why would you play a triplet wall?
It's true. That's very true. Alright, next up over here, actually a very interesting clan, especially for Premium. We'll try to get through these a little bit quicker. Pirate King of Darkness of Bartholomew. This guy over here, auto. This guy, unit attacks cost counter +1. Choose up to 3 cards with different cards named from your drop. Call into rearguard circle. Called unit gets additional 5k power until the end of turn. Second skill continues on Vanguard. If your drop is 30 or more cards and your opponent will call cards from the hand to Guardian Circle, they must call 3 or more at the same time. This is incredible. This is like unfair.
This is yes, unfair. This is the best card in the set, I would say. There are 1 or 2 other cards that I would liken this to, and we'll talk about those a little later, where those decks just shoot up to be some of the best decks, where they just have this strategy of, you know, they can grade 2 game relatively well, or extremely well, and then if they hit their stride with such as Bartholomew, they win the game. Because of cards like Navigator that just fill up your drop zone.
Well, I was gonna say too, I just did a Negrobolt like V thing. It was kind of like an OTK. It's just your whole goal is to get 30 in the drop, and then like you do that on the single, your very first grade 3 turn, and like it's very much possible. So
you're not get your whole thing in there. Use Negro Bones to like call out the Night Storm and the Skull Dragon. And you still get like 9 attacks that are all triple door, and 3 or 4 of them are Skull Dragon.
Yep, I saw people talking about this as like a finisher, and I'm like, if you're ballsy enough that this is your first stride, this is the last stride.
It's a finisher because, you know, once it hits Vanguard Circle, I think the game is probably ending.
Over,
barring a defensive over trigger or some insane like hand to guard, but even then, you have to call 3. Like, for
could you imagine your opponent hits defensively, but you use the vanilla over trigger in here, and it's like you hit, your 2 units are still over. It's like, okay, 3 cards to guard, please. Can't guard.
Yeah, and you know, if you're against a Skull Dragon, which you cannot hard guard in the first place, this is essentially going to be 4 cards out of your hand if you have to perfect guard, discard 1, and then guard with 2 more.
GG machine.
So it just rips through your hand if you even have the hand in the first place.
Jake, what are your thoughts?
I'm scared. Granblue players, take it easy on me.
Yeah, in a clan that has so many other good strides too, it's like, this is actually bonkers, so. Granblue tier 1. That's good.
It's already definitive tier 1, but let's push it to...
I hate facing Granblue. And,
probably the best deck of, possibly one of, if not just the best deck of the format post-clan collection.
I can see that for sure. The G-Guard over here, this is Moon Singing Diabolic Princess Oriana. That's pretty cool art. I kind of like that ghosty stuff. Auto, when this unit is put on Guardian Circle, costs counter +1. The attacking unit gets critical -1 to the end of battle for every 10 cards in your drop. Wow, that's... I would say it's good without being too strong. Simple.
It's good. It's sort of like you don't have the choice, just like with the Dark Irregular one. You have to choose different ones. This one you can only choose the attacking one, but it will minus probably 2 or 3. You know, you're getting the 30 cards in the drop with Bartholomew anyway, so this will can neg 3 something, and Counterblast is not necessarily an issue thanks to Grenache. So definitely a good card.
Yeah. Cool. I would give this a B+.
Give it an A minus maybe.
Yeah, A minus. I'll amend mine to A minus. Yeah.
A minus.
Okay. We're all in agreement. All right, perfect. Let's go on to actually one of my favorite releases for Great Nature over here. This is Omniscience Dragon Caladrius. This guy's skill, act on Vanguard Circle once per turn, turn a card from your G-Zone face up, choose all your front and rear guards, they get an additional 10k until the end of turn, end of turn, retire them. Second skill, auto on Vanguard Circle, when this unit attacks, cost, counter +1, choose one of your power greater, 30,000 or greater rear guards, stand it, and it gets auto when this unit attacks until the end of battle, and your opponent will call cards from their hand. Guardian Circle must go 3 or more until at the same time until the end of turn. We all kind of know this is straight up just support for Rhino.
It helps the deck do what it's trying to do right now, but slightly better. You know, get that Rhino, make it big. Cannot be guarded with 3 or more, and cannot guard with 0s either. Right? That's how it.
You can't guard with 0s for Rhino. Yeah.
Yeah. So And then you just restand it a lot with Crayon Tiger. This will restand it once.
Big value, everything, yeah. It's just...
So it's like a nice card. It doesn't necessarily push Great Nature up like to the next level, but it's a very nice card to have.
Yeah, I've kind of adapted my big belly list, and I'm just straight up bringing it to premium. Adding rhinos, adding things just restand. So it's just very simple, pretty brain dead. This just is like a really nice one of those cards that like, take your V deck and with very minimal investment, just turn it into a premium deck. I think with the retiring all of your rear guards is actually pretty good because you're obviously drawing off of V big belly. There's just so much in this deck that draws, and like it allows you to I think actually use a lot of critical triggers in here, like the perfect guard sentinels, not perfect guards, the sentinel crits. So I don't know, I think this is actually a pretty good card. Again, kind of opens up the playstyle that I wanted to do from the beginning. Just makes it really, really simple to do. Turn a card face up from your G zone, boom, easy. I'm gonna give this B+. I think this is solid and pretty good.
Yeah, and I like B+. Helps the deck, doesn't push it to the next level, but it is good for what it's trying to do.
I'm gonna go with B.
Just a B, you're a Great Nature hater, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on to the G-Guard over here. G-Guards for Great Nature are actually wild. They're like all over in price. It's actually kind of scary. This guy is Omniscience Dragon Sebket Avil. This guy over here, when this unit is placed on Guardian Circle, costs counter +1. Discard the top card of your deck, perform one of the effects below depending on the type of card. Normal unit, this guy gets 20k until the end of turn. Trigger unit, this guy, choose one of your units, cannot be hit. Wow. That's pretty fun. I don't know, it's not like the most reliable, and in a deck that's like actually threatens deck out quite a bit. The milling card is annoying, but
I will say this card is definitely, a lot of the cards in this set have been generic, and this is technically generic. It is basically guaranteed meant to work with Isabel, because Isabel says
both, right?
When you would perform one of the effects,
is that just
both.
On your turn, or is that on
it is just if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you perform both of the effects for perform one of the effects.
Okay.
Oh geez.
So you could actually do. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So you do guarantee the perfect guard for this one.
It's pretty spicy. I actually really like this then. I mean, it works in like the regular big belly thing, but like it excels in that deck, which, I mean, she could still kind of take advantage of Rhino, and like it's so easy to generically slap things in. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this an A.
I'll give it just like I'd give it a B-, just because again it's all right, but it only really getting its full potential in Isabel is a big hit for me, or big downside for me.
Yeah.
And then just having to gamble on it is I'm not a fan of.
Okay.
Yeah, I see that, but like either way, I see this as an absolute win. So I'm gonna counterblast 1, mill 1, and just guard out with a B.
Okay. Alright, so I actually like the Great Nature stuff, but y'all are some haters though. This is a card too that I actually really do kind of like. This is gonna be Divine Dragon Knight Barakat. Barakat is interesting. Alright, let me read the skill first, obviously.
It's for Kagero.
Try this in Vanguard, blah blah blah. Auto, when this unit attacks cost, turn a card from your G zone face up. Your opponent has 3 or more open rearguard circles. This guy gets initial 10k critical drive +1 till the end of battle. They have 5 or more. All of your rearguards get an additional 10k until the end of turn. So I have 2 builds kind of going on for, or actually 3 for Kagero Premium, but 2 kind of focusing around here. Obviously, this still works in the Nazir builds, with the hand rip one. Yeah. This also works in like the Lawkeeper Premium kind of build too.
I've heard Lawkeeper this can be used in.
It's just like sit back, you don't have to do a lot. Like the whole G zone is like pretty easy for these guys. You're just applying pressure, doing your thing over and over. You're popping their entire board constantly, and you're plussing over that based on like the grade 3 order card from Overdress. I forgot the name of it, but it's like the Eugene support card. And you actually generate like huge advantage. You just have like this inherent pressure. Like your rear guards with what is it, the Blaze Flare Dragon or whatever, like are hitting for decent numbers, and you just give them an extra 10k. Like this card is very like just coast, take it easy, and like still kind of do well. I feel like a lot of people are I don't know. They're shitting on this card, but I don't think it's that bad.
I mean, it's all right for what it does for those decks. It does not help the best build of Kagero being the Overlord right now. But it's a fun card, like the Gear Chronicle one. I'd say it's a very fun card, but you know, if we're looking at it from a competitive standpoint, I don't think there's necessarily much value, especially with the builds that it's playable in being already not being the greatest.
I think there are rogue strategies that can be like decent, and this Vanguard 2 doesn't take up a counterblast or anything, so it actually like allows you defensively to go into Lockkeeper, which is pretty cool. You can go into Eugene too and just like have that whole thing going on, but I mean, I could see that. I don't see it being the
being
most
free is
card.
definitely a nice plus.
Yeah. Jake, anything?
I just see it as one of those strides that you go into if you just have no other options, because generally just that +1 drive and a little extra pressure, it's never going to hurt you. So if you have nothing better to do, I just don't feel like that's a reason to play a card, though.
Yeah, like if there's nothing else, that kind of means you don't have a very specific game plan, which is.
But I feel like that's
necessarily good luck.
That's my hang up, that people think that, but like if you're going the correct like retire Lawkeeper build, this is like so good.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty good, at least. I don't think it's like so good. I think it's pretty good and actually offers an alternative to the Overlord kind of build. Like you don't like this is actually one of the cheapest premium builds you can do. Let's put it that way, and like still actually be decent. But
yeah, I think it helps boost up that decent option, but still just not like a overtly strong card in the grand scheme of things, is my opinion on it.
I still think it's like a B+.
Give it a C+.
I'm gonna give it a C.
Yeah. Again, y'all are some haters. Red Clans, best clans. Let's go.
I'm very much an Overlord hater. Smile.
This is not Overlord, so you should like it.
Yeah, but no, whatever. It's Kagero. Red Clan stinky, except for the good ones.
Blaze Dragon Dance Salima, the guard over here. At the number of cards discarded from your hand for this is reduced by 1 by each of your opponent's open rear guard circles, and these units put on Guardian Circle. Cost soul +1. Discard a card. Discard 4 cards from your hand. Choose one of your units, and it cannot be hit until the end of battle. This is interesting. Again, this is Lawkeeper support, so I'm kind of tailoring my deck. I already have like 2 deck lists for this, but this is good. It's not like insane. So
I think it's definitely very good, especially even not again with Lawkeeper build. Some decks, most decks won't always necessarily keep just like a full board at all times, so they'll already be diminishing some of that cost for you. And then on top of, if you have multiple heals, you can Denial Griffin something and then use this for the PG effect later on, and it's just a very nice option. It's one of the better Perfect Guard G-Guards in my opinion, just because the cost is so easily mitigated.
Yep.
You're not starving for Soul and Kagero.
What was that?
You're not starving for Soul and Kagero.
You typically were until we got the Blaze Flare Dragon. Like, Soul was actually a huge issue previously. But, yeah, I mean, if you're doing an Overlord... I don't know. What would I give this, actually? I'm kind of lost here. Because I like it, but... What are you guys going with? What's the rating?
I'd give it an A+. Honestly, maybe an S. I think it's definitely one of the better G-Guards in the set.
I wanted to go that high, but I wasn't sure. I was like, you know what?
I'd go A+.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a shred A.
Okay.
I gotta be different.
There we go. Okay, so over here. Next up, all right. I'm gonna let you take this one.
Oh boy. All right. This is Link Joker. This is Nebula Dragon, Cosmic Dawn Dragon. So when it attacks, you counterblast 1. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Choose up to 2 cards among them. Put them on RC as locked cards, and then shuffle your deck. Then you can choose any number of your locked cards. Either unlock them or return them to your hand. And for each card you return to your hand, your opponent chooses one of their rear guards and locks it. So there's a lot to this card. It is very applicable in almost every Link Joker deck, but at the same time, for a lot of them, it suffers the same issues as the other 2 premium collection strides, whereas it's not necessarily directly helping the game plans.
Yeah.
In Chaos, it can help just like get some advantage if perhaps your opponent just did not call a field at all. Deleters, you can also help get some multi-attack, refill the board for given if you're playing deleters. And even like the V Messiah builds, this is very nice because it helps you do that high role play of, Volko Dunamis.
Yeah.
But where I think this card really shines is the reverse builds, because it helps you just see the pieces for those decks a lot, whereas you can, Maelstrom reverse, you can get your Awakings, your Unlockers. Himiko lets you help get like the heal guards or just PGs or just anything else you really need in any of these decks. It just helps. You can either farm for hand or use it for multi-attacks. It's versatile, and I think definitely shines best in the reverse decks, but hard to say if it'll really...
I think that makes sense, too, because, like, just thematically throughout this whole set, I feel like they're just doing stuff that kind of tailors to the stuff they just released, like all the other B-bosses and whatnot. So now that you say that, I feel like that makes more sense, because I was thinking previously, like, would I put this in Messiah? No. Do I want this in Chaos? There's better options, probably, so...
I think it's definitely good in Messiah. The one big issue, obviously, is that it doesn't flip something up, so with this, you cannot go into Integral Messiah. However, if you're in the position where you can use this and grab your Volkos, grab your Dunamis, and just help get that many more multi-attacks on like a Force 2 with the big Volcagodes, that can push you closer to a win con than perhaps an Integral would on your third stride, just by virtue of having that extra pressure with the Volcos.
Okay. What would you give this card?
I think B, just solid right in the middle B. It has its applications, it's good in some of the decks. It's not entirely like broken, but it's a solid card, I think.
Okay. What about you, Jake?
I look forward to testing this in Glendios, so I'm going to give this a B+.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really know enough about Link Joker and Premium especially to really comment, so I would probably go B, just because it sounds decent. It's like an option, but it doesn't, like, again, it's like that vanilla basket where it's like you can play it with anything, but it doesn't really, it doesn't get you to the end goal of anything, so. Okay, cool. Let's go on to the G Guard now.
Alrighty, so this one is Terminal Ending Darkness Big Ripper. So when it's placed on the guard circle, cost Soul Blast 1 and lock 1 or more back row rear guards. And this unit gets plus 10,000 shield until end of the battle. If you have 2 or more locked cards, you draw a card. This card is very conflicting. It is arguably one of, if not the best G-Guards that Link Joker has now.
Yeah,
but compared to the rest of the set, this is not good.
Yeah.
Which just goes to show how pitiful their G-Guards were before. This, we were talking about the reverses but a bit before. This is very much direct Himiko reverse support, which is very nice for that deck, I suppose, but because you can lock 2 more back row and then use the Himiko effect to call out the trigger and get huge defensive on the opponent's turn. But in a set full of these like 35,000 shields and the PG effects, it's a 25 and a draw for Soul Blast, and you got a lock, and like it only really works in those reverse builds or those Messiah builds where you want to be locked back row. Like Chaos already struggles with numbers and putting nut cards like on the board in general, so you really don't want to be wasting your back row slots. So I think I'd give this a C-.
I think I would agree.
I'll give it a C for the sheer fact that it's better than most of the other Link Joker G-Guards.
Fair enough.
Alright, coming out of Link Joker land now, Mega Colony. So let's try to fly through these other ones. I just realized we have we don't have a whole lot more, but we have quite a few more. And we are definitely taking a lot of time here. So,
Evil Mutant,
Deity Malignantis. Good card overall. Act on G Zone or on Vanguard Circle. Once returned, this guy is on Vanguard Circle. This costs maybe a card with paid with turn a card from your G zone face up. This card is face up, cost +1, put a rear guard into your soul. Choose one of your opponent's standing rear guards and retire it. If a card is retired, you draw a card and countercharge 1. If no cards are retired, choose one of your opponent's vanguards, gets -10k until the end of turn. So, obvious elephant in the room. Flip this up with Gridora, -10k if they have nothing on their board. It's like...
It's very silly. It is. Takes an already oppressive deck and just adds even more power to it. Even in a potential world where Gridora does not exist in the future, flipping this up with Overwhelm is also a very good option. Or even just going into it on its own can be alright. It's just
I'm trying to think of this
card.
card in the silo, like by itself. And I still think it's decent. But like with any other stride, like this is still so good. We're funding a counterblast too, because you're pretty CB heavy, and I think in general in Mega Colony it's really solid.
You've got ways to refund it though, also with the high class moth. And other stuff.
There's tons of counter cards, obviously, but it's just a resource intensive deck, or resources flow. So in one way or another, I would give this guy an A.
I give it A+. Honestly, I think I would give it an S as long as Gridora exists.
I'm only sandbagging a little bit just because I'm trying to think of a world where Gridora doesn't exist.
Even if Gridora doesn't exist though, you go Overwhelm, you flip this up and draw however many cards, and then you also -10 the opponent's Vanguard. Still a very powerful play.
Okay. Jake,
so I think I'd give this an S.
I'm gonna go with the fact that this scares me. S.
That's okay. Alright, so we think this is a pretty powerful clan. You heard it here. Mega Colony, best clan. Let's go.
Totally.
Constraint Mutant Deity, Crueble. Pretty cool art. I like that art on there. Looks like a deleter almost. This guy over here, auto when it's put on Guardian Circle cost, soul +1. This guy gets 30k shield until the end of battle. Your opponent chooses any number of their rear guards and rests them, and then this guy gets shield -10 until the end of the battle for each unit that was rest. I think this is so cool. It's interactive, goes with stun bugs. Definitely an S in my book. I love this card.
Yeah, I think I can agree. I think I'd give it an A+ rather than an S, just because it's not like a PGG guard, but it's either a 45 shield, which is insane, or the opponent is resting their rear guards, which both helps you and can hurt them. Technically, they can just maybe rest some lesser important boosters in the back row. But even still, this will more than likely be at least 25 or 35.
Okay. What do you think, Jake?
If you think about it, like the Kagero G guard, the counterblast on retire the entire back row. This is effectively that, but for a soul blast in worst case scenario.
That is an interesting way to think about it. Yeah, I see that.
It is, yeah. So what's your verdict?
Best case scenario, 45k. I'm gonna give it an A+.
A+. Okay, so we're all around the same ballpark. Very, very good. Alright, this over here, Murakumo. Interesting card. Again, I think this is really like first stuff that they just released. So Ambush, Demon Stealth Rogue, Izushitotomi, whatever the heck it is. Act on Vanguard Circle once per turn. Counterblast 1, put a normal unit from your drop zone on the bottom of your deck, turn a card from your G zone face up. Choose up to 2 of your rear guards. Search your deck for up to 1 card with the same card name as those units. Call them to rear guard circle, shuffle your deck. At the end, all of your units continue on Vanguard Circle. All of your units can attack from the back row, while you have another unit with the same card name as themselves. So this is like so obviously spam support. This is good against or good for like almost any strategy within Murakumo, but like especially for the Hyaki, which I think is pretty decent.
Alright, I think even better though is in Shirayuki, which is already a very strong deck in premium that is quite slept on, honestly. But I think this card is up there with honestly the Granblue one, because you use this, you call out 2 of the 6 flowers Shirayuki. You can flip up Shirabaku Victor.
I was gonna say
if any of your attacks, if any of your attacks don't hit, counterblast 3 or 4, and just neg 30 or neg 40 your opponent's Vanguard. And then with the back row
rear guard circle, the 6 petals though.
Yes, it is. It is when something does not hit, counterblast 1. Give your opponent's Vanguard -10. So you can just neg 30, neg 40, and the back row attacks allow you to extend even further, especially with Shirabaku Victor. And there's been the meme 25 attack card combo with the 25 attack combo that you could technically do with this. Well, that's not exactly practical. The code is still very,
I was
very
like, I'm not
good.
even going to try to even look at that. I don't believe it's going to be a real thing.
It's not very practical, to say the least.
I think that's actually true.
I would give it the best.
I would say A+.
This is arguably another one of those cards where if you're striding it, if it hits the Vanguard Circle, there's a very likely chance that you can end the game there.
I do have a build for this. I already started building it out too for premium. I very much looking forward to this card. That is interesting with the Shiryuki too. I gotta look into that. Jake, what do you give this guy? Earl, rather.
25 attacks, 2.5 GPA.
2.5. You give me a C.
No, I'm joking.
Oh,
S.
I was like, what? You give me S? Okay. Not that the 25 thing is something you should always try to get into.
That is.
I want to see that happen. Someone pulls it off.
They have videos. I know Yellow Card Vanguard.
There are videos, they made a video explaining it. It is. You need cards in deck. You need 5 damage. You need 6 or 7 cards.
It's possible, man. It's possible.
It is impractical.
You're telling me there's a chance.
But
you're telling me this.
There is still like knowledge to be taken from that and the applications that the Stride has in real practical applications.
Okay. Alright, next up over here, the G-Guard, Ambush Demon, Stealth Rogue, Aizen. This guy over here, when this unit is put on Guardian Circle, choose one of your rear guards, gets auto at the end of battle that your opponent's unit attacked. If the attack did not hit, costs Soul Blast 1, you may return this unit to your hand until the end of turn. This unit gets shield 10k until the end of battle for each of your units with the same card name as the chosen unit. So,
that is, I think, very good because again, you just it helps with the Shiryuki plays. I think Soul might be an issue because you're really trying to use your Soul for the Shiryuki's effects, but being able to bounce them back to hand can be nice.
The second part is not too hard. I mean, like, it's so easy to have those 3.
A big shield, if you go into the new Stride, you're gonna end your turn with probably 3 or 4 of the 6 flowers, maybe even some of the regular one. And it says each of your units, so your Vanguard will likely be the original Shiryuki, which the other one counts as. So this can be easily a 55k shield or 65 just casually.
I would give this
I'm not familiar.
No cost.
I'm not familiar with Murakumo wording, but doesn't it usually say each of your other units the same name?
This one just says each of your units with the same name as the chosen unit. So you choose when you guard with this, you choose one of your rear guards. It gains the ability, and then the G guard gains shield for each of its units.
I think the way it's worded, it leaves it open that you could choose itself, but you wouldn't really do that. That's what he's getting at.
No, because it chooses a rear guard, and this is on the guard circle.
Choosing rear guards.
So the rear guard gets the effect.
But isn't it a rear guard on your Guardian Circle?
No, Guardians don't count as rear guards.
Oh, okay.
They just count as Guardians.
I honestly forget the thing, but yeah, I'm going A+ here.
Yeah, I'd go A+. Honestly, I'd go S. I think this card is
good. Murakumo,
very good card.
Premium, let's go.
Murakumo is winning hard.
We're back at
I'm gonna go A.
Going A, okay. Hate it.
Speaking of winning,
there we are. Here's the big boy. Here's the big boy. So my personal favorite clan, Conquering Supreme Dragon, Exterminate Dragon. I actually like the art. It's not too crazy, but it's pretty cool. Auto when this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle, Soul Blast 1, draw a card for each of your opponent's open front row rear guard circle. Act on Vanguard Circle. Cost Counter Blast 1. Once per turn, all of your front row units get an additional 10k until the end of turn for each of your opponent's open front row rear guard circle. So basically at least like another extra 20k to your entire front row. Just the... I don't know, I mean, like...
This card is just absolutely crazy, you know? People have likened it to, just the fact that it patches up any weakness of if the opponent plays around Stunverse, you know, then you go into this, draw 2 plus 20k to front. But honestly, I think the real issue now is people playing around this, and then you go into Stunverse, because I think this is honestly better.
In a lot of situations, it feels, better.
And you just go on place Soul Blast 2, draw 2, plus 20 to front row. In Eradicators, you can slap down Choos, and anything you can slap down Virina for just big free multi-attacks, and especially also, I don't know how much you've seen of this with the new Sweep Command Dragon.
With the grade 0.
With the grade 0, you do that on the opponent's turn, wipe their front row, goes perfectly into this, because you'll stop their turn, and then they'll have an open front row. And this just perfectly patches up, like, especially in Eradicators, which is the Narukami deck I've been playing the most. One of its biggest issues is it can lack a little bit of offensive pressure and draw power because of its focus on its defensive plays, but this just patches that up perfectly, because you defensive play stop the opponent's turn, and then you just go draw 2, plus 20 to front, or more if you're against an Excel deck, which is just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I mean, any playtesting I've done with this, it feels amazing every time I go into it. This is definitely S tier for me.
Definitely S tier.
S, less is more.
Less is more, baby. Simple skill, simple people, Narukami bind, Okay, so let's go into Sky Guardian, Supreme Dragon, Counteract Dragon, and we have some pretty good G-Guards already for Narukami, some solid ones.
Some of the best in the game.
Auto, when this unit is put on Guardian Circle, your opponent chooses up to 2 of their front row rear guards and binds them. 2 cards were not bound till the end of battle. This unit's shield gets plus 10k, and if no cards were bound, this guy gets an additional 10k. So, big 35k shields. Gives your opponent the option to make it that 35k, or take away attacks. So, either way, it feels nice. I think this is another 8. I think it's like an 8+.
There is things to be said where, later on in the turn, if you're using this, they can maybe bind one of their front rows or 2 if they're already rested and they've used those attacks to make this lower. But even still, that's filling up the bind zone. It's emptying their front row, so it's helping you play into both Stunverse and Exterminate, whichever you really want to go into. And it just either that or it's just a free big shield that is completely free. So it's a very nice option.
So
maybe not better than like Impede Dragon, which is just crazy, but
What's the rating?
I'd say A+.
Yeah, because it doesn't have like the pseudo RPG thing, I guess. What about you, Jake?
It's your opponent the choice, so I'm just gonna do A. But still, any choice is good, but it gives them a chance to optimize.
Okay, that's fair.
Fair enough.
We have a couple left over here. Okay. So let's go into Flower Princess of Compassion, Ladislava. So this was really interesting in my opinion. Act on Vanguard Circle once per turn, cost, discard a card from your hand, choose one of your rear guards, search your deck for up to 2 cards of the same grade. As that unit, reveal them, choose up 1 card from among them, put it into your hand, call the rest to Rear Guard Circle, and shuffle your deck. Auto on Vanguard Circle, when this unit attacks, cost counterblast 1 if you have 2 or more rear guards with the same card name as each other, choose 2 of them, stand them. I like this card. 2 different builds you can really go into. You can go into the blue Asha builds. I don't know too much about that typically. I never played that G deck, but this also, you can slap this on your V Asha deck, and it's
that's
really good.
Where I think I've heard it the most is, you go Asha, you make the Asha tokens, and then the next turn you stride this. The Asha tokens are copying the Vanguard, and then you get to restand them as well. So it's just
the power gets nice. Copied, crit, everything. It's like drive check, so free. Just it's kind of like a front. You just all crit, put it on the Vanguard. GG. This is, in my opinion, I think this is fun. I don't think it's the most competitive card, period. Just because it takes a little time to build.
Pretty bad spot in Premium. And this is neat, but it doesn't fix the inherent issues the clan has right now.
Getting some nice resistance stuff, like the grade 1 promo that's coming out for the deck. We also got the Congratulations promo too. There's like tons of things that give power, like spread it out. I think it's solid. I think this is probably B+. Like, I really do like this card. I think it's like really fun, and this is again one of those things that like take your deck in V that's not really doing anything, slap this on with like some minimal investment and some other G Zone cards, and like you have a very playable deck.
Yeah, I think I'd give it a C-, honestly. Like C-, again, it's a fun card. It can do some stuff, but it's really not impressive in an already unimpressive clan, and it's fun. It has some plays you can do with it, but it's overall just not very strong in the grand scheme of the premium scope right now.
I'm not a fan of this card. I'm just going to give it a C+. say I think it looks like fun, but like not for me.
Okay.
Not for the meta either.
Fair. Let's go on into the G-Guard Flower Princess of Dedication, Robertina. This over here. This video is going to be like 2 hours long, I just realized.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know that I can even post it. When this unit is placed on Guardian Circle, choose a total of 2 normal units with the same card as name from your drop or rearguard circle. Put them in the bottom of your deck in any order. If you put 2 cards, countercharge 1. This unit gets shield plus 15k until the end of battle. Total up to 2 normal units, the same card name from drop zone to rearguard circle. Bottom of your deck.
It's a solid card. I don't know. It's relatively simple. I don't know if there's really much to say about it. You bottom deck 2 normal units from your drop zone.
Yeah.
And it's like countercharge and a 30k shield.
I guess you spam a lot of copies out of your deck with the whole like bloom thing, but
yeah, so it helps put copies back. Yeah. You'll have stuff pretty easily to put back, and so it helps you refill deck, and it's just a 30k shield and a countercharge. I'd give it B+.
Yeah, I was going like B, probably.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not amazing. Yeah. Okay. Cool. We're all kind of in agreement. Next up over here, too, card that I'm super excited for. Fighting Emperor Dragon, Merciless Dragon. So the Narukami would be, Vermilion went and joined the.
I thought this was gonna be a Vermilion card, and it's Nova Grapler.
Cost counter +1. Discard 2 cards from your hand. Stand this unit. Oh no, I'm sorry. When the rear guard is stood by a card's ability, cost counter +1. Discard 2 cards from hand. Stand this unit. It's in your main phase. Attack your opponent's Vanguard with this unit. Vanguard Circle auto. At the end of battle, this unit attack cost. This guy gets drive -1 until the end of turn. So this is good. 2 different decks. In my opinion, there are the new card. There's actually the Kagero. That was.
I've heard some silly things you can do with that.
So that's actually decent once you get to that, like that minus threshold where it's like, all right, do I want to keep on swinging with my Vanguard? Or I'm personally going to put this, I built off another deck to be another Bestiality deck for this. I personally think it's just spam attack, very good, simple, not too much brain power needed, but I think this is a solid card overall. I like this at like an A-.
Yeah, I think it's solid. I think I'd give it a B. It's good. It's one of the better things Nova Grappler's got in recent history, and with the newer Kagero, that opens up a lot of interesting plays with this.
I feel like Nova didn't really have an options aside from like Victor, and this finally like opens up the clan in premium.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a bold stance. I think it negs too hard. I'm gonna go C+.
Understandable.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, the discard thing, but there's I feel like there's ways to start plussing in Nova Grappler, but overall, the discard from hand like does hurt. Like there's no doubt about it. Over here to the Meteor Kaiser Stiffnade. This guy is skill, pretty cool artwork on that. When this unit is put on Guardian Circle, cost counterblast 1 or more cards, and this unit gets 5k until the end of battle for each face down card in your damage zone. If you paid counterblast 2 or more for this cost, draw a card. If you paid 3 or more, draw a card. Not great.
This is an F.
Counterblast
3 to draw 2. Like Novas have a lot of countercharge, but you don't want to be spending it on this.
That's not.
Yeah, no.
Is that minus grade? I'm gonna go D- just because I don't know. I guess counterblast 2 to draw a card is not the worst. 3 is just too much though. And the deck that you could deck, there are some things that do counter. There is a lot of counter charge, but it just doesn't feel right. So I don't know. I'm going D- on that. Nubatama up next over here. An interesting card, Rikudo Stealth Dragon, Yatsuka Lord. Cool art, really cool art. I actually really like that humanoid kind of thing. Act on Vanguard Circle once per turn, counterblast 1, soul blast 1. You choose 3 unit cards from your opponent's drop. Opponent chooses any number of cards from among them, call them to rearguard circle. If your opponent's card's auto abilities do not activate from this call, your opponent chooses a card from their hand for each called unit and discards it. For each card that was not called from the cards you chose, draw a card, and all your front row units get 10k until the end of turn. So potential 30k on here. Still messing with their hands. I like this.
I think this card is incredible because, especially when paired with the Mizukaze, which is the incredible guard restrict, where for every called unit the opponent has, they cannot guard with that same grade. So you choose this, you call, you can either choose 3 zeros or like a 0, 1, a 3 to prevent heal guards or like grade
So
1
if
sentinels,
they
any
called a grade
triggers.
3, could they discard that for a heal guardian?
Yes, because that's calling a grade 4. I also believe that Muzukata, so that's, you're not putting the grade 3 on the guard circle.
Yeah,
the heal,
okay.
You're discarding it. But
wow.
And so if they don't call, you're drawing a bunch and giving +10 to your front. And you can get some pretty solid multi-attacks.
Yeah, this is good. This is just no doubt.
Yeah, and then immediately after that, like second stride onward, we just go Rene, which is just a crazy card.
Yeah, I love Nubatama Premium. Jake, what do you
think? It's very good. It's not one of those drop, haha, I win, go next.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, it's very strong. It pushes the deck forward. It knows what it's doing. I'm gonna go B+.
I give it A+, because like you said, it's not one of those, it gets on the Vanguard Circle and it wins, but I think it's just below that, where it definitely brings up the deck a lot. Yeah. I think Hanzo, especially, there's a few Nubatama Premium builds running around, I think, namely being Hanzo and Daihozan. I think Hanzo is...
I like the Daiho. I run Daihos and I play that whole thing.
I think Hanzo is a bit better, and it's also, either way, it just accelerates both those decks to just quite a higher level.
It's
when
just like
they're
so,
already, I think, pretty strong.
The clan is versatile. There's so many decks you can like actually viably play in Premium here, and it's just kind of does everything it needs for like each one. So I guess it's a Counterblast, Soul Blast. So like, I'd probably give it like an A. I don't know, somewhere sitting between like an A+ and an A, in my opinion. I think it's very strong. So I think we all agree that one is strong. Over here, let's go into the grade 4 Recruiter Stealth Rogue Mori Lord. This guy auto when this guy is placed on Guardian Circle cost, Counterblast 1. This unit gets an additional 5k until the end of battle for each card in your opponent's hand. If your opponent's hand has 4 or less cards, you draw a card. It's interesting because this kind of plays into the Daihosen thing. You want to be ripping cards from your opponent's hand too in Nubatama, just in general. So the draw is okay. Counterblast is a little heavy in the clan. 5k, assume they have 5 cards. It's actually 25.
Yeah, especially if they're not playing, or if you're not playing Daihozan, it's gonna, like if you're playing Hanzo, the opponent's still gonna have that big hand. Yeah. So this is just gonna be a pretty big shield. And then versus Daihozan, where maybe they gained a bit less cards, you might be able to get the draw. But I think either way, it's probably just gonna be a pretty big shield, since especially in Vanguard, you're almost always gonna have a big enough hand for this to be quite big.
I'd probably go like C+ on this.
I'd give it a B, honestly. I think it can get big. I guess maybe B- because of the Counterblast cost.
Yeah, B-, I'd say. B-, yeah.
C+.
B+. Interesting. Alright, next up over here, I have no idea. Oracle Think Tank. Happiness Spinning Nanda Dragon King. This guy, Vanguard Circle, once return cost, turn a card from your G-Zone face up. Reveal cards at the top of your deck equal to the number of face-up cards in your G-Zone +2. Call all the normal units revealed. From among them to Vanguard Circle, put all the trigger units revealed into your hand and shuffle your deck, then activate the trigger of all those revealed cards. Solid?
It was very good. I think it's not one of those like high win the game cards, but it's free, it's good just as a first stride, even if I'm only checking top 3, because it's a free +3 at minimum, and then you get to activate your trigger effects. You can stack the deck before it since it's an act, and it just enables a lot of free plussing and getting you still get those trigger effects, and you get those normal units called to your board. So I give it solid A, maybe, just an A.
I would think, probably, because I mean, activating those trigger effects, plussing, either way, it's like it's costless. It just feels super solid.
Yeah, like the other first stride option the deck really has is the Momo, which is a nice restanding Vanguard that can give a big buff to the front row. But just having the other option of just this free plus, if you don't really need the pressure of like a restanding Vanguard, can be very solid. And also, something funny is if you check the over trigger off of this, it still goes to your hand.
Yeah,
but then you still get the plus 100 million and the
draw, which is insane, actually. So I would say A. Jake, what's your verdict?
I would go A. Just one quick question. The trigger effect of the over trigger was in the game, so wouldn't that still?
It removes it specifically from the trigger zone.
Yeah.
So since it's not in the trigger zone, it stays in your hand.
Still goes to your hand.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Though you don't get the additional effect because it wasn't a drive check, so you only get the plus 100 million, but it does stay in your hand.
Still.
This is true. Alright, what do we build the Enlightened? Eightfold Fence, Octagonal Omega. So this guy I want to put on Guardian Circle, cost counterblast 1, choose 2 cards from among them. From among grades 0 to 3, declare them and reveal the top card of your deck. If the revealed card is any of the declared grades, put that card into your hand. If you put a card, this guy gets shield 15k until the end of battle.
It's, I think, not great. Even if you're able to stack the deck and guarantee this, you're counterblast 1 to essentially draw 1, and it's a 30k shield, which isn't terrible, but it's also just not like outstanding. And if you haven't stacked the deck like for the opponent's turn,
not every Oracle Think Tank deck really focuses on that either.
Yeah, so you're just kind of gambling, and you know, if you whiff, it's just
What are we rating this?
Not great. Give it a C, flat C.
C plus maybe.
I'm gonna give it a D+. It's expensive for a 30k draw 1.
Yeah, understandable.
Could be worse.
In a deck that does a lot of drawing already.
That's true. Alright, so we got 4 clans left now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Ooh. Trenchant, Megatrick,
Leontina.
Jeez, I can't read right now. I got COVID brain. But auto on Vanguard Circle, when this unit attacks, cost counterblast 1. Discard a card from your hand, put all your rear guards into your soul. Choose up to 2 unit cards from your soul. For each card put, and then call into rear guard circle. If you call 4 more cards of different grades until the end of turn, when your opponent would call cards from their call 2 or more battle door. Jeez.
Yeah, so very good. I think it might be actually, I was gonna say it's a little hard to get off the battle door, but it's probably not, because you'll soul everything in and then call everything out. So obviously, you know, the big Pale Moon deck right now is Nightmare Doll, so you can soul in like your main combo pieces are already all different grades with the Leslie, the Ginny, and the Alice. So you soul those in, you call those back out, and you call just like a grade 0, like could be your starter, and then on an already crazy deck now has Battle Door, which I think is very crazy. I would give this an S.
I would probably give an S, just because you could use it in literally any of the Pale Moon decks. Silverthorn, yes. I'm trying to think. Nightmare Dolls, obviously. You can use this in Harry too. Yeah, for sure. This is a really versatile card. Damn.
Yeah, it can be used in everything.
What?
I'm sorry to interrupt. I thought we were
No,
talking
go
about
ahead.
Alex. I was wondering, does it fit into the deck that we thought was going to be good with the bunnies?
Oh god, fuck that piece of shit deck.
We were really
it's fun in V, especially when mixed with horror.
But
the deck's
I don't know.
crazy.
I don't think, because the bunny skill is an act on Vanguard Circle, and that turns the other thing into the Vanguard Circle, which is like the main gimmick. You have 2 Vanguard Circles.
Right.
So I don't think that really.
They can't Spirit Shard this.
We'll talk about the V deck a little later, but I think this is just a good card.
Yeah.
They can go into everything. The thing, back to Nightmare Dolls for a second, is the one maybe not great thing is that it does cost a counterblast, where you really want to be using your counterblast just to extend what the Alice plays as much as possible. But for the benefit of getting a Battle Door, I think that's probably worth it most of the time. And if it's really not, you can still just do Dark Lord into Yvette, which is still a very strong play with 2 Vanguard attacks, the extra Excel, giving something plus 15.
So strong. The G-Guard over here, Jester, Demonic Beast, Flexion Chimera. This guy auto, and this guy is put on Guardian Circle. Cost, put 1 or more cards from your hand into your soul. This unit gets an additional 10k until the end of battle. For each card put into your soul for this cost, if 2 or more cards are put to the soul, your opponent chooses one of their stand rear guards, puts into their soul. I think this is pretty good.
It's good.
Field manipulation,
Very solid.
Very like a big power.
Yeah, you can convert any of just like your lower shield cards in your hand.
Yeah, into something.
Putting them into soul, they all turn into 10k shields essentially.
A lot bigger, yeah.
For this battle, and then can get rid of one of your opponent's rears, which even if it's their choice, that still usually be somewhat relevant to their turn. I'd give it an A.
I would give it. Yeah, I was thinking A+, but yeah, I think A. It's not like super versatile, but I think field interruption is something actually really cool. The potential, like you said, to turn cards low shield value into higher ones. Definitely not too bad.
I'm gonna go with an A+, just because I think you'll play it over some of the other G guards in the clan.
That is true too, considering that. Yeah. Okay. Over here, I don't even think we have to talk about Royals. This is
they're bad. It's bad.
Troll Knight support. It's not.
This is a worse Crystal Luster if you're on Salome. You'd rather just go into Crystal Luster anyway. And the G guard, it gives something. It gives an interceptor a PG effect, which is neat, but they can get rid of that.
I don't even know their G guard. Let me read this. Auto, and this guy's put on Guardian Circle. Choose one of your grade 2 units to the end turn. Shield 10k. When this unit intercepts, counter blast 1, soul blast 1. Choose one of your units. Cannot be hit until the end of battle. It's okay. It feels like weird alt mile support. It's like not relevant. Just this whole thing.
Like you can technically still give something the ability and then immediately move, like intercept with it for guard circle.
Yeah.
For that PG, but it's just awkward and kind of expensive as well. Counterblast, Soul Blast for a fragile PG, which still a PG, so there's some value to be had there. But it's just so awkward.
Oh, great! I'm getting ads in Korean apparently now. Lexus. Okay, so Dark Knight, Cromcrotch. I don't know. For Shadow Paladin, I actually like this guy. Act on Vanguard Circle. Costs once per turn, retire 2 rear guards. Opponent chooses 3 of their rear guards, retires them, and then 3 were not retired until the end of turn. This guy gets auto on Vanguard Circle. At the end of battle, this unit attack. Cost counterblast 1, retire 2 rear guards, and stand this unit. Get power plus 10k. I do like this. I think restanding Vanguard's pretty decent. It kind of goes into any Shadow Paladin deck. Kind of gives me like a reason to slap this onto, I don't know, my Claret Sword deck and kind of go for it. Retiring a lot of grade 1s could be good in that deck. Get kind of like spams units out too. It's fun. It's not like the craziest card.
It's a neat card, Can run it in, like, obviously the big deck is Luard.
Yeah, Luard, yeah.
I'm never going to go into this and like over Morfessa, but except maybe, like, I think it replaces the Spectral Diablo that I think they were playing before as just like
that's
the restanding Vanguard.
Yep.
And it's just a slightly better version of that, I suppose. So I'll give it a C-.
C-, wow.
It has its niche, but it's not really doing much, especially when 99% of the time in like a relevant Shadow Paladin deck, you're just gonna go to Morfessa.
What do you think, Jake?
As the resident Shadow shill, I want to give it an S, but the highest I can give it is a B-.
I think it's like B. It's like, I've played with this card. I've used it. It doesn't feel as bad as it reads. But again, you have to get off like 3, retire. You have to essentially have less than 3, and like, I don't know. Shadow Paladin retires, but not like a ton. So
it's one of those cases for me where it's like, it's not necessarily a bad card by any means, but when the clan just does what it already does, this is not making an effect on that, on its current meta builds.
And then the G-Guard, Dark Dragon, Deep Griever Dragon, which I like this art too. I like a lot of the G-Guard arts. When this unit is put on Guardian Circle, choose up to 5 grade 1 cards from your drop, put them up to the bottom of your deck in any order. This guy gets shield plus 5k until the end of battle for each card put. Put 5 cards, cost counterblast 1, choose one of your units, it cannot be hit until the end of battle. This is like one of the reasons I also said it was like for Claret, because like, you sack a bunch of your grade 1s, get a big shield on this.
This is the best G-Guard in the set, I would say, I think, because it makes the V Luard build for even better, because one of the issues with that compared to like the running the drag heart or the drag fall is you'd run out of your grade 1s really fast. So that this lets you refresh those while also just being counterblast 1 for a PG. And the V-Lord build has already been seeing a lot more play because of just having the important ride up turn against decks that can ride down like dolls.
the V-Lord deck definitely.
Yeah, but so this enables that even harder. It's a PGG guard that enables the rest of the deck while doing so, while being that PG. So it's just crazy. I think it just works perfectly.
So definitely an S.
Given this.
Mr. Reject.
S.
S is.
I'm here.
You gave it an S. Sorry.
Gave it a total S.
Total S. Okay, so we got 3 S's across the board. Pretty damn good. Ooh, and one of the best cards too in this set.
Yep.
Lawless King, Gabberus. I'll let you take this one.
Alright, I'll take this. Been messing around with spikes a bit. So like you said, Lawless King, Gabberus, and so it's got 2 effects. The first one, auto BC. When your rearguard attacks, it gets +10 until end of the battle, and at the end of the battle, you put that unit on the bottom of your deck. And then when he attacks, you Soul Blast 1, search your deck for up to 2 grade 2 or less units, call them to open RC and shuffle your deck, and then all your rearguards get boosted until end of turn. So this is an easy S for me. I think this, along with, like I was saying, the Murakumo and the Granblue cards are just insane. You stride this, you win the game. Everything gets +10.
So many attacks.
Ride Rising Nova for that Force 3. You can do like 10 or 12 attacks off of 1 or 2 CB, and if you have more, you can just extend even harder thanks to like Ambush Dexter, Mech Constructor, the W package. It's just this card turns this deck into one of the best decks in the format, and it also grade 2 games really well. So with just like Rona and just whatever it has, being able to call out full fields very easily.
Accurate too, and just start beating them down.
Yeah, so you just start beating them down and force the opponent to ride up, and then you stride and kill them. Because if you stride this card, even if the opponent is on 1 or 2, maybe even 0, it's not hard to kill.
No.
I've been playing against this. It is rough.
Yeah, I mean, this client already has so many good strides, in my opinion. It's a lot better than people, I think, give it credit for in premium already. And this is just like the vanilla ace that it needed, and we got it. So I think, this is definitely an S to me.
S.
S is all around once again. And then lastly over here, right? This is the last client, Tachikaze. This is one of my actually favorite cards.
Also the G card.
Oh, I'm sorry, the G guard. Yes. Let's go for that first. Compassion Queen.
Before we get to the best clan.
Yeah.
Take this again. So Compassion Queen, Villainous Evita. So when it's placed on Guardian Circle, counterblast 1, choose 3 normal units from your drop. This unit gets the original shield of each of them until the end of the battle. And if you chose 1 or more grade 3s, you draw a card. And you put all 3 of those, put all the cards chosen on the bottom of the deck. This card is just very good. It can become like maximum like a 45 shield. More likely it's probably just going to be like a 35 or 30 if you're putting back like a grade 1 and a grade 2. You can put back a grade 3 and get an extra draw. It's just like big shield. It recycles your pieces because you're running not that many copies of a lot of things. And it's just big shield, draw a card. Not much more to ask for. I'd give it a solid A.
I feel like so much of my issue with this deck is like you run so many like one-up pieces to kind of make things work. So the fact that you can like recycle them back in is like actually huge. I would say this is like a solid A as well.
I'm gonna go S.
Going S. Going all the
Understandable.
way. All right, next up, Tachikaze. You want to take this one, Jake? You like Tachis.
I love Tachikaze. We're going over Tyrannical Magnate Giganto Fellow, where he's a jolly good fellow. Of course, it has auto Vanguard Circle Engorge, so attack, you can retire any amount of rearguards. That's what Engorge does, if any of you aren't in the know. And auto on Vanguard Circle, when this unit becomes engorged, cost, counterblast 1 and turn a card from your G-Zone face up. choose the same number of cards from your rear guards as the number of units retired by this unit's ability this turn, that being Engorge. And until end of turn, they get plus 10,000 power. And then it gets another skill, Auto, and those units get Auto skill. Rearguard Circle. Once per turn, at the end of the battle that this unit attacked, cost +1 in its stand. Yikes.
So yeah, this is...
I don't want to be on the other side of that.
This is good in like every kind of build for Tachis, like the regular standard Engorge one, where you might have gone to like Gaia previously. This actually Neberos, that whole like build. I think this is actually really interesting too in True Ancient Dragons or in Ancient Dragons. Hit a front, get the crit on there, restand like a double crit kind of. What is it? Rear guard. I mean, pretty huge. It's just it does what it wants. Like the deck does what the clan is built to do. Gives it the power, the blanket power that it kind of lacked from the hit a defensive and boom, Tachis isn't as threatening anymore. Does the whole multi-attack with the Engorge, restanding capability, and like I said too, if you do the Ancient Dragon thing that I'm kind of gonna tailor one of my decks to, it's like so. I don't know, if you hit the front, it's like GG.
The one issue I've seen with this card is that the soul management can be awkward, especially when you're calling out like 3 or 4 things that get to give them the restand power.
Yeah.
Like, you're not necessarily going to have the soul for all of those. You're going to manage that wisely. Keep in mind what you do have. You're already spending soul early on with stuff like the Savage Shooter if you ride that.
That is true. The, what was it? There's like that Bomber Dragon thing. He soul charges. It's kind of like a weird card though. There's also, I think the only card that we would really potentially run, and it's not even like great, is like the Sonic Noah that goes into soul, which could help. But in general, you have to know that you're on your kill turn pretty much. But I feel like this is a solid card once you know that.
Yeah, it's a very strong power card.
I like this card. I'm gonna give it an A+.
Give it an A.
A-.
A-. Wow.
I have to manage my expectations, okay?
I feel you. And then lastly, the last G-Guard over here, Fortified Marquis Legolas over here. We got, when this unit is placed on Guardian Circle cost, retire any number of rear guards, and this guy gets shield 10k. End a battle for each card retired for this cost, draw a card, and then for each unit with equip gauge, retire for the cost. So, I don't think this is that great.
Yeah,
and a deck
it's a nice last-ditch effort, I think, for... if you really cannot survive, you can get rid of your board, maybe draw some cards and have it be a big shield, but you don't really want to be getting rid of your board on the opponent's turn. You kind of want to have your board, retire it, and bring it back, and then do it again. If things go away, you have a kind of a hard time rebuilding the board. But as a last-ditch effort for just big shield and some extra draws, I think it's a nice option.
Yeah. I would give it a B.
Give it B-. I think just because of, like you said, the deck out issues.
Yeah, that's like my biggest thing, especially in like the Neberos deck. It's like you're just ripping through your deck and like you're gonna defeat yourself at least like 1/4 of the time, which is unfortunate.
I'd give it a C+ because you really want to get rid of the pages on your own turn.
Yeah,
plus off them further.
Thing. Yeah.
Like I see it's more of a last resort card.
Yeah.
Alex said. So for that reason, C+.
Okay. Cool. So that about wraps it up for the clan collection. I don't think we have enough time to really go and do it. I'm gonna see if I can kind of shorten some of this maybe too. But in general, I'm just running down the list. What are the big winners? I know a lot of things were good. Bermuda, big winner.
Big winners, I'd say like the big top 3 are like
let's go top 3.
Spikes Murakumo.
Wow, Murakumo.
I think that Shirayuki play is very strong with, say, like Narukami and Bermuda being right below those.
Huh. Interesting. Just trying to make
I think the real winner here was Royal Paladin.
Yeah,
yes.
Definitely. I'll see you at the top table, Scrub.
Yeah.
I personally think it's probably Granblue. Oh, I don't know. I wasn't rating Murakumo that high. Oh, but it's like sort of solid in both. Oh man, I really want to do the Hyaki Vogue thing though with it, but you're tempting me to share Yuki build. Jake, give me your 3. Let's see if I.
My 3?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for the cards I would want to play first. So we're not going meta here.
Okay.
I would potentially like to. I would like to play Tachikaze.
Yep.
Spike Brothers. And I would love to get a way to break the Gold Paladin unit. I think there's some niche there that I'm just not seeing.
Yeah, I think it's like the Yasuri or whatever effect, where like people say it's bad, but I don't think it's really that bad.
So those are the cards I'm looking forward to playing.
What was that?
I wish you luck in the endeavor of breaking that card.
Well, as the resident trying to break D series PVD, I've got a little under my belt.
That's true. I'm gonna say Spikes, Bermuda probably, and what was the other one I was talking about? Granblue. I think those are probably the ones I'm looking forward to playing the most, though. Nova Grapler one, really fun. Great Nature, really fun. I want to say Gear Chronicle.
Okay.
Those are probably like my fun ones. Murakumo somewhere in there. Narukami, obviously, I'm gonna play. That's like my main clan, but those are like the most like, okay, like I'm gonna get into premium with them, and like I wanna start having fun with that. Dimension Police is honorable mention somewhere in like every category because I think it's fun and competitive. Yeah. A lot of these guys are solid, but I think overall this whole collection has been a big W. I think that in general across the board, it's not really S tier stuff.
Yeah,
like in some of the big clan collection reveals.
When it comes to just the cards I'm looking forward to the most to playing, it's just the Narukami and Link Joker, just the decks I already have been really just grinding out in premium the most. I'm excited with the new applications that these strides have.
Nice. Cool.
But overall, I think the set is very nice. You know, a little awkward in the sense I'd say that like a lot of the best cards are for decks that like are already the top decks, like Granblue, Mega Colony, Pale Moon, all the crazy stuff, Narukami. But there's some other like sleepers that became a lot better, you know, like Murakumo, which is all, and Spikes, which are also both good right now, but not like getting the same attention as the others
right now. That's like I thought. I don't know. Obviously, everyone relied. I think like Crutch was new Dio, but the Shiryuki build is better than people give it credit for. But
yeah, Shiryuki is I think very slow.
I think it opens
even
up.
right now because you can still just ride the Shirabaku Victor, tech top 7 for the Shiryukis, and you also just have searchers for them. So even if you're not like getting the back row attacks and the guaranteed call 2, you're still likely having some pretty big plays.
Okay. Nice. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll start to just roll out a little bit more premium content in general once this set drops, but kind of after Springfest because we have spice in the works. But thank you guys all so much for watching. Again, if you have any questions, let us know down below. Let us know your opinion. I know this video is super long. I'm gonna obviously chapter this and time code it, but thank you. And this is Alex from Team Generations signing out.